wanna stay ahead of the curve and follow my words. How we doing? Teach, train, innovate, solve, yeah. Teach, train, innovate, solve. If you wanna be ahead of the curve, then follow my words.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome back to TT Innovative Solutions, where we build confident, prepared, and empowered teachers who crush their Texas state exam and thrive in real classrooms. And we do this by teaching, training, and presenting innovative ideas, providing practical solutions. Tonight, we are tackling a topic that every teacher feels: differentiation without burnout. And how do you meet every student's needs without losing yourself in the process? And some of us spend our entire career trying to figure it out. It took me a long time to get it. I'm here to share with some tips and tools with you tonight. Because let's be honest, your classroom is filled with every kind of learner: fast finishers, strugglers, talkers, thinkers, and well, sometimes all of the above happen to be in the same room. But the truth is that differentiation doesn't mean doing more. It means being more strategic with what you already do. And so that's where I want to guide you today, and that's where we're landing today in our conversation. Our goals for tonight are to understand why differentiation feels so overwhelming. I'm going to give you 4 easy tips and strategies that move you forward and get your classroom where it needs to be. And then I'm going to talk to you about protecting your energy, protecting your peace, because it is something that many struggle with. So, diving right into it, what does differentiation feel? Why does it feel so overwhelming? And I particularly think that it has to do with what I like to call it perfection. You know, sometimes we want things to be a certain way, and it can get in our way. But if you've ever thought about it, I can't, and I never try. Well, you can't possibly make 5 different lesson plans. And you're not alone in feeling this way. As I've already said, I couldn't do it, and I consider myself to be a master educator. Many teachers, especially those who are new to the field, those who are listening to my channel, you kind of equate this differentiation with, as I said before, perfection. But it really starts with empathy and you understanding who's in front of you, not just what you're teaching. So let's shift our minds a little bit. So instead of thinking I have 25 students, think I have 3 learning groups. It makes it more easier for you to plan for your thought patterns to be just adjusted to that versus each individual student. You've grouped them, you know some of their needs, shared needs, and so let's attack it according to those shared needs. And then another mind shift is, instead of I must modify everything, just like my person here on the screen with their papers going everywhere, I want you to think instead of I can layer access little by little. Because you're not making 25 lesson plans. You should be building one strong plan with flexible entry points. And those entry points will be the assistance that your students in your classroom, because you should know them by now. You've spent a number of days with them and you are understanding some of the things that they need. You address those needs and tackle them the best that you can. So here are 2 of those strategies, because I don't want to come to you bringing you more problems, but bringing you practical solutions that will get you to your goal. And that really is either a year's growth for your students. That was always my goal. They must grow a year with me. If they grow more than a year, perfect. And then my other goal is for those of you who have been tuning in for the months that we've been on our station to pass your state certification. And so here are two strategies to think about in terms of your classroom that you're in right now and the things that they may ask you on the state exams. So the first one is um, tier by support, excuse me, not by assignment. And what do I mean by that? um, really, these strategies, this particular one, well, let me change that. As we get more tactical, these strategies really work in mixed ability group classrooms. They align with today's my alignment and conversation is around PPR domain 1, the instructional design, and domain 3, which is the learning environment. But in the tier by support, not assignment, everybody's working on the same core skill. I used to love this reading series that we had that would offer the same core skill, but in various levels. And it would give us sets of books that would allow us to work with each portion, each group that we service, but still talking about the same story. That big difference is in scaffolding. I can introduce things by like sentence stems, of course, the visuals that I provide, a checklist, the timing, the pace in which I do it. This helps me to keep grading simple and everyone feeling included. That's what that strategy is. You're not changing every single assignment, as in the example that I gave you about the same book, but at different levels. We were all working on the same core skill using the same story. Now, that curriculum was special and definitely helped to keep things organized and easier to do. But there are other ways in which you can do this, which brings me to my second strategy that's on your screen. And that is using a choice board. When you use a choice board, you are actually allowing students more options and engaging that may be more engaging to them. You want these students to complete these key tasks that you have and then choose extensions that fit their readiness or their interests. And it's going to require you to do some upfront work, yes, but it will take away that dreaded statement that used to drive me bonkers in my classroom. And that is, Miss Gibson, I'm done. Or the constant interruptions that many of them unfortunately had when they were done with something, but you were working with a group. Doing it this way helps to build autonomy and it reduces those kinds of distractions that I mentioned just before. So these are great ones. I also would advocate for folders, which I don't have on my screen, but for folders like the must do or may do folders that you can place items in according to your students' various needs and various abilities. Because again, I am aware that you have mixed ability students, mixed ability crowd within your room. So those were two that I think of about kind of bringing the cohesive group together, making sure that you're addressing the group in itself. But then there's two more that I wanted to share with you today, and that is the color coded group task. This again will take you some time, but it will also save you some time by you grouping your students' task readiness for certain days. I'm suggesting colors because then it kind of, guides them without you having to tell them each time. So maybe the green folder is the guided things that they do alone. Maybe your yellow color folder is where they work with a partner and you've already situated what their partners are, who they are. I have a colleague that uses these great task cards for partnering that are like peanut butter and jelly. So one person has the peanut butter, the other jellies. I thought that was the cutest thing of all. But it also gives you quiet for them to find each other and get together. All right, let me get back into my color coded. So another one is blue. If I can make blue be my independent folder. So here I gave you three ways in which, of course, we utilize grouping in our classroom. One where it's guided, scripted. They're going to follow these steps, maybe alone or maybe in a group. The yellow folder being for partner task, doing together, and then the blue independent folder all by themselves. The color coding again keeps it visual. You're still organized and it's without constant explanation because again, I'm going to spend time. I'm not just throwing these things at students and telling them one time and that's it. I am strategic and guiding them through the way that I want it done. And it doesn't have to be 30 minutes to an hour for you to do that. But personally, I think that it's after you've done your 20-minute introduction, it's a daily 5-minute. This is how this works. Show me how to do it. Have a student practice and show them how to do it. That's how it's done. And then my tech assisted differentiation. There are so many tools. I'm going to list just a few of them right now, but there's so many tools that you can use that will save you hours of you trying to do these things on your own. And one of them is the quizzes. Another one is Nearpod. And then one of my very favorite is Edupuzzle. You can use these for reviews. You can use these as a short introduction to something that you're going to talk about whole group. But all of these tasks, all of these ways in which to organize your tasks are those easy strategies that will help your students and you to thrive in your classroom. Because the truth of the matter is that we must protect our peace within the classroom. There are things being thrown at you daily by the minute. But differentiation should not be one that causes you pain of some kind. It should serve you, not you serving it. Not you, not another task, as I like to say, for you to do, but something that is going to serve you, going to provide you with the assistance that you need in order to get your students to that year of growth that I'm talking about and not drain you. We have so many other things that sometimes can come to drain us with behaviors, off task things, interruptions, things of that nature. But I am a proponent that believes that if you plan well and you plan right, a lot of these things will not be in your way. They will be a thing of the past and out of your way. So, for protecting your peace and protecting your energy, I want you to take one of these strategies that I presented today. And of course, we're here to help you. If you're just feeling outright overwhelmed, that's what my company is here for. These tips that I'm giving you now are ways for you to set a rule for yourself to change one thing in your lesson plan. Try it out. Try at least one of these for the next 3 weeks and see how it changes for you. But that's it. Don't try to reinvent the wheel every day. Try as much as possible to automate what you can. I like the grouping, rubrics if you have, feedback that you can give. Use your planning period. This was something that um, and nobody could have told me without me experiencing it and doing it for myself. Use your planning period for strategy and not survival. And maybe I'll do a full YouTube about what I mean by that. So many hours went by planning periods lost until I that clicked for me. And then truly remember, you don't need to be a superhero to be a great teacher, but you do need a system that helps every learner, including you. As always, I'm very grateful for you being present with me. My name is Tamara Gibson, the CEO of this company. It has been my delight. It has been my pleasure to work in my field for the 26 years that I've had the pleasure to. And then now to be able to give back in this manner. If you're preparing for the PPR 160 or your content exam in Texas, remember that differentiation will show up across any of the exams. It will show up in instructional design, in your learning environments, and in your professional roles. And that's the reason why I say it's going to show up everywhere. They're really not asking you to do everything for every child. They are asking you to plan intentionally for your diverse environments that you are in. So in your classroom and on your exam, I want you really to understand that the strategies that I provided and share with you today are my company's way, my way to be empathetic to my beloved profession, to provide you with strategies that are practical and to empower you to be able to move forward in this profession. As always, I am thankful for the time that you spend with me. I don't take it for granted that you clicked on this channel and that you took your time, which to me is the most precious of commodities, to sit back and listen to what I have to share with you regarding our teaching profession. And if this helped you in any way, and of course, I want you to hit that subscribe button and come with us weekly as I give you some tips and tricks as you grow as an educator throughout these years. Our mailing list is located on ttinnovate.com at our website. If you have particular questions that you want to ask of us about our services, our email is right down below on our screen. And we are present at TT Innovates on all of the platforms that you see before you. More present on some than others, but getting back to them all because we understand that in order to spread our message, we have to continue to share consistently what our beliefs are. My belief is to teach, train, innovate, and provide you with solutions empathetically, with strategy to empower you to continue to do what you love. All right, everyone, have a great evening, and I'll see you again very, very soon.